Hello and welcome to the SIME Inside Out podcast brought to you by Lancaster University Management School. We're speaking with members of the SIME community, that's the Center for Scholarship and Innovation in Management Education, to explore how engaging with SIME has shaped their thinking, practice, and development. These are short, real stories about the value of education community, creativity, and transformation in education. My name is Anne, and today we're very pleased to have Lee Francis in the studio with us.
Hello.
Welcome, Lee. How are you feeling?
I'm good, actually. Thank you. Yeah, it's a bit rainy today, but I'm happy. It's good. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, could you start by telling us about your academic background and your current role at Lancaster University?
Okay. Yeah. So my name's Lee Francis. I'm currently a teaching fellow at Lancaster University in marketing in the management school. And I tend to teach, I guess, the more fun modules, I would say. So I do the consultancy for undergraduate and postgraduate. And I'm also employability champion. So I work with employers, sort of London and Manchester, to make sure our graduates are equipped with what they need to hopefully get a job. And I do lots of other sort of random roles as well. I'm in charge of eye tracking, so I manage the equipment and the studies for those sorts of things. And there's loads of other things that I do, but I can't remember them all.
I mean, that's
those
a
are the
lot.
main things. Those
That's
are the
a
main
lot
things,
already.
Like
Yeah.
how much time I spend on each area. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, before SIME came into the picture, what was some of the challenges or opportunities you were exploring in your research or teaching?
So, because I'm a teaching fellow, the sort of clues in the name is that I spend more time teaching than I do research, really. And I think what's the SIME sort of unit helped with is kind of thinking a bit about the way that it's taught. So a lot of research can be quite niche and focusing on a very specific area of expertise, which is great. But at the end of the day, at university, we're having to transmit that content in the most effective way. So scholarship and management education is really looking at how management education in one aspect is delivered. So for me, what it did is it allowed me to actually network outside of my department. Because really, researchers, they often can work alone or in kind of a very small group. And what's nice about SIME is I've met people, some of my friends who I wouldn't necessarily consistently work with. We now get to catch up on all sorts of issues about their department, but actually they're quite similar in terms of what we're facing. So, so it was a really good additional thing that I felt that I was looking for in my kind of collegiate kind of working atmosphere.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. So take it back a little bit. What initially caught your attention about SIME, and do you remember the first time you heard of it?
I mean, it's been going about 2 years, I think now. So I think I don't know when I initially heard of it. I think I remember Radka, because Radka's quite vocal and visible in a good way. And I remember I think an email or a Teams post or something about it. And I think it was when they launched their first issue. I think I came to the initial opening sort of celebration of that. And then it was just, I had a couple of ideas that I wanted to test out. So rather than committing to, a full journal article for, and it can take quite a long time to write, I quite like the idea of committing, a short amount of time to testing out kind of some ideas and running it past sort of an immediate community to then hopefully get published in a shorter time frame. So I think that's what attracted me to it, is networking and also a shorter time to publication as well.
Yeah. And you were talking about your expectations, you're joining SIME. So does any of that come to reality or come into practice?
Well, I think it's probably exceeded my expectations because so like I said, the journal aspect's interesting, but also I didn't quite realise the scale of the sort of networking opportunities as well. So I think in the last year, I've been to all sorts of different conferences, some because, I'm chatting to someone they know of a good conference, Advance HE. So because I'm a fellow of the HEA, Advance HE, they do a conference each year, which I didn't actually know. And then I went to that a couple of weeks ago in Sheffield, which is really interesting. But it's only because I was part of the SIME community that I heard about these things. They also provide funding as well. There is limited pots of money out there, so they've been really supportive, financially as well, which in this climate is particularly useful. So
that's actually really great. And you were mentioning your peers at SIME, and we also heard from a lot of our guests that SIME actually allowed you to engage with people outside your immediate academic area, right? So how do you feel it? Is there anything interesting story you want to share?
Well, so I'd say probably getting to these other conferences and events was really sort of an unexpected bonus. I think also seeing, so one of my colleagues, Harry Rolls, so he's in a completely different department on the other side of campus. So it's quite nice that we can kind of get to meet up and chat about things. There's also just switching ideas in terms of how to teach things. So he uses magic in his teaching. And then I use eye tracking in mine. So we kind of share ideas on that. So that's been quite fun. And actually me and a colleague, Helen Meek, we've co-written an article together for the second issue of SIME, which I think is going to be published, next term. So there's been sort of all sorts of unexpected sort of developments from it, really.
And did you learn anything from them that you brought into your own practice or teaching?
So I guess in terms of teaching, so one of the articles that should be published, I think, next term is I talk about how to use video as part of teaching, because there's certain processes that tutors do every year if you're doing software that don't really change unless they do a big system update. So for me, it was like I managed to just sort of, and I'd done actually a seminar with the SIME staff as to how they can use video for part of their course. So because I teach eye tracking, there's certain things that have to happen each year, and my video basically is, what it does, it cuts down repetition in my workload, but also means when I'm not available and the students want help at 2:00 in the morning, they can watch that video as many times as they like, and I can crack on with other things. So so it's been quite useful for that, and that has helped, I think, influence or at least remind people that there's other ways to do things. And I think the thing is, when you're so focused on delivering content and getting through your own workload, I think sometimes it's nice to be able to take a step back and realize maybe there's another way to do it, you know.
So reflecting on all of this peer learning within SIME, how would you describe the sense of community within SIME?
You know, we're all kind of sort of a wide demographic of different positions, really. So, I mean, Radka's a professor. Helen, who we've written together, she's a senior fellow. So that's kind of where I'm hoping to be in a couple of years. So, yeah, I mean, it's quite a wide, and also different disciplines. So you've got, organisation work and technology. You've got other LUMS disciplines, but also just other Lancaster disciplines as well. So you're learning not only from, I guess, different hierarchical structures within your same department, but also across the university as well.
That's very wonderful.
I thought so.
Yeah. So now reflecting on yourself and your own development, has being part of SIME changed how you approach problems or opportunities in your professional work?
Well, I think it's, when they do each issue each year, it's certainly now something that I think in the back of my mind, if I haven't got a big 7,000 word article written, but I've got an inkling of an idea, I kind of use that as a way to structure my own development process. So I'll be like, well, look, if this gets into here, then I can maybe expand it and develop it and then submit it into, the longer, more established journals, as it were. So I think it's probably helped me plan that side of things a bit more and to kind of look out for those opportunities, I guess. So, yeah.
That's great. And now thinking a bit bigger, has your involvement with SIME actually influenced any broader decisions in your career path or any leadership role?
Well, I mean, I don't know whether I could attribute it all to SIME. I mean, I think my own career trajectory, so I'm teaching fellow, then the next step is senior teaching fellow. I think it's helped give me some ideas as to the impact that teaching can have amongst students, but actually also your peers as well, because that's one of the criteria for senior fellow, is that you're influencing how your colleagues teach, not just your students. So, and I think what that's done is it's made that possibilities seem a bit more tangible. I think when you see it written down, you must influence colleagues. I'm just like, well, how am I going to, how am I going to influence someone? I'm an influencer. Whereas it's like actually, going to these seminars and going to conferences and stuff, you actually realise it's more easy than you think to be able to do that. So yeah, it's definitely helped, I think, crystallise a couple of abstract things into these are actual achievable goals. Yeah.
Yes, and you were mentioning the conference in Sheffield. That's an opportunity to share your work beyond the university, right? So does SIME allow you to actually disseminate your expertise more in like publications, events, or collaborations beyond the university?
So SIME helped me specifically fund, it was a trip actually to King's College for a day, and I wasn't a speaker, but it was really useful to go and network with staff from other universities. So King's College, I hadn't been inside King's College before, so that was nice. I got to meet quite a lot of staff from Warwick actually and King's itself. So I think that just wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for SIME's connections, and even just being able to fund the train and stuff like that. These are all things that when you're weighing up, can I go to a conference or not? The cost of the train to get down there, my own schedule. They basically made that happen really. So yeah,
that's great. And you were talking about influencing people before. How do you see the legacy or impact of SIME continuing in your own work or through people you could have influenced?
Well, I think certainly based on the last 2 years, it seems to be growing, each year with kind of the more people that it attracts and the sort of the quality of the guest speakers that we get in, and the sort of, I guess, the publicity of it, the knowledge of it amongst other universities. And Radke sent something through the other day about another conference abroad, which is really interesting. So I think from now I can certainly hopefully foresee it continuing to grow, and I think also people being aware of its existence, being able to try out some sort of ideas in sort of a safe environment. Because I think the thing is, like, when you're writing for like a big established journal, it's quite competitive and very kind of pressurized to get in. Whereas SIME, yes, it's a smaller journal, but it's like it feels a bit more like something you can do a bit more regularly. It's like, okay, cool, I can just give that a go and see. Now, that doesn't mean they're not strict. We have commentary as well from the reviewers for things to change, but I can certainly see it as a nice stepping stone for people who maybe have got an idea but they're not quite sure how to expand it into a longer bit of work. So hopefully, I think in terms of smaller but more regular outputs from people, knowledge and support of conferences, but financially as well, and peer learning, like learning from professors who specialise in teaching. Because teaching is kind of, because we're a research-based university, so teaching is, I'd say, I think it is as well kind of explored. So having a peer network within SIME can actually help people who are on that path to develop more, I think. So.
Yeah, and I think you sort of answer my next question as well about what are you most excited about the future of SIME. But how about your involvement with SIME? What are you most excited about trying out with your SIME?
Well, I think it's always a little bit subject to what else I've got going on. So this coming year, I've got loads of new roles, which is great from a career perspective. So I hope to, at a minimum, maintain what I've been doing, which is, writing an article, hopefully for the next issue, and attending events. Maybe in the medium term, I'll get to maybe influence some staff teaching in another way, perhaps. I mean, I'm doing quite a lot of experiments and research into AI at the moment. So, it's possible I might attempt to do some sort of seminar to help staff who may be a bit wary of using it and what the pitfalls but also the positives are. So perhaps I might do some more workshops for them maybe.
That's really great to hear, and we really hope that all of your work and experiment will come to fruitfulness. So if you could shape the next phase of SIME, what new direction or support would you add to make it even more impactful?
I'm trying to say what I've said already. I think certainly maintaining what they've got, it has to be the minimum. So doing the journals, doing the conferences and funding support for that, I think is really important. I think as a journal, it's only 2 years old. So I think over time, I guess becoming more established, becoming more known. I imagine the length of the articles will probably increase over time, I should think. So I think, and I think just the awareness of it, and I think for people to recognize there is value in supporting kind of newer fledgling kind of ideas. I think when you look at like general consumer research and things, these are big journals that have been going for decades, but I think it's really important. And it's actually quite nice to have that sort of formative shaping effect of something that has just started, because you feel like you can contribute and say, well, how about we do articles like this, or these sorts of themes are missing from the literature that I've read, maybe we could do that. So yes, I think carry on with the collegiality and the regular events that they do. They have workshops and they have guest speakers. So I guess just more, basically.
That's great. And now for our final question.
Okay.
If
Do I get a prize? Do I win something?
Well, we have to
Everlasting
ask.
glory online. Okay,
We have to ask Radka.
Okay.
So, for someone who's still unsure about whether SIME is a good fit for them, what would you say?
I would say, if you're a bit unsure, I think just come to an initial meeting at the start of term, or I think the first journal is available to look at online. So check that out so you get an idea of the sort of tone and interests. And I think just come along. And I think the key thing is like, you don't have to come to every single event. It's more like maybe try and be there for the kind of key, start of term kind of thing. And then just kind of see if there's an avenue that works for you. And also, if you are a bit lonely, I know one of my colleagues, he does a lot of data-driven stuff, which doesn't involve anybody. So I think if you do something that's very kind of isolating and maybe a bit specialist and very niche, also PhD students as well. I mean, it's nice to get out of that zone of research and network with other people. So yeah, I'd say if you even just curious, or if you want a bit of company, or you got an idea you think's kind of cool, but you don't know how to develop it, but you don't know if it's ready or big enough for a conventional journal submission, then I'll check this out. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's a very insightful conversation.
Thanks for having
And to all of you who are listening, thank you for being with us. If you are thinking about joining SIME or just want to find out more about us, please visit us at www.lancaster.ac.uk/LUMS/ in the Research Centre section, or just find us on LinkedIn. We're always keen to welcome new voices who are passionate about education, innovation, and meaningful learning journeys. See you next time.
See ya.